podcast. On today's episode,
we are going to be discussing our 2022 year in review. In the studio with us today is Kim and Amy and myself, Bethany.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so it's been a year already.
Yes, it has.
We did a lot of stuff last year. As of recording, today is January 7th, so we are a couple days into the new year. So what we are going to do today is kind of take you guys through our last year. So starting in January 2022 all the way up through December, we had a lot of stuff happening last year.
Now the first thing that we did was we went to Octagon Hall. That was way back on January the 1st, and that was an amazing investigation.
It was a really cool location, and we actually went shortly after some tornadoes went through the area, so the energy was really high out there.
Yeah, we had some great experience, even personal experiences there, as well as a lot of evidence that we captured.
Yeah, I'd really like to go back when we can go back during the daytime, because Amy and I like to investigate outside, and on that particular night we weren't able to. It was storming.
No, it's like a monsoon.
Yeah, so we weren't able to do any outside investigations, but we had a lot that happened there.
That's right. I remember I was able to play some blackjack with someone, and they called me a cheat, so that's always fun.
Right.
Amy,
you had something especially interesting happen to you.
Yes, I did a spirit box session with a spirit, and it, not unfortunately, because it ended up working out in the long run, I developed an attachment.
Right, I remember.
It had some physical repercussions for me, but once it was established, we did what we needed to do to help move her on.
Right, and once we did that, your symptoms kind of eased up a lot.
They dissipated.
Yeah, I mean, you had lost your voice and everything.
Yes, and not for a little while. It was for like almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. And then we started backtracking, and we came to the realization that it was probably a spirit that had passed in a fire. And so it affected Amy's ability to talk. It was like she had smoke inhalation. So once we did more investigating and realized who it possibly was, we were able to work with that spirit and hopefully helped her move on, which helped Amy at that point. So that was pretty interesting.
That was an intense experience because we had never really done that before.
No.
Right.
And I'm assuming that her reasoning for attaching to me was to leave where she was.
Right.
And from there, that was an amazing experience moving her on, because we were using the spirit box and all of the tools that we have to urge her to move on.
Right. And I remember when we were doing this, we're using the spirit box and we're hearing words that are almost another language, but I believe we were hearing like French Cajun words that we would not hear in this area of the country necessarily, and several voices that were coming through that seemed like they sounded all alike.
Yeah, I believe it was her family.
Right.
Yeah, urging her to listen to us. And it just seemed like we had closure for her shortly after that.
Yeah, once she was given the choice.
Right.
We discussed, Heather discussed that she had never been allowed to have a choice in anything that had ever happened in her life.
Right.
And so, as a spirit, once she was given the opportunity to either stay or go, she decided to go.
Yeah, it was definitely a very awesome experience, because like you said, that is something we'd never done before.
I'd never been that emotionally affected by a spirit box session. So I'm not surprised that it became an attachment.
Right.
Because I could feel everything that she was feeling.
Right, you got overwhelmed there, I remember, several times. So it just seemed like she just really was emotionally connected to you.
Well, I could feel all of her pain and grief and frustration, and it was I'd never had that happen. I mean, I've had certain feelings during spirit, but nothing that intense.
Right. Definitely was the first time for all of us.
And we also, back in June, we took over the Ghost Walk of Lexington,
That we did.
which actually turned out to be an awesome experience for all of us. We did not know how crazy the remainder of the year would be.
Yeah, we didn't really do much after Octagon until we took over the Ghost Walk. And that was probably a good thing because that took up pretty much all of our time up through October.
It's a serious commitment, but it's very, very satisfying.
It was, for sure.
Right. You meet a lot of nice people out there. You meet a lot of different people out there, but our experience was everybody was open to what we were all about, and everybody seemed like they always had a really good time.
Right, and I think, we can attribute a lot of that to the heart that Patty Starr put into this walk before we took it over from her. So, like, the reputation of this walk when we took it over was already really well established. So, for us to be able to come in and just pick it up without missing anything, we're going around to all these places and doing miniature investigations with a group of people that necessarily have never done this before.
Right, and it took 6 of us to match Patty's energy.
For sure.
Right.
It was just a wonderful, positive experience through the entire. I mean, we've met so many and made so many connections through this.
Yeah, people from all over the United States, even some from Canada. And of course, we always ask them if they travel that far just to come to our Ghost Walk, which I think that kind of got a chuckle every time we did it, but it was just a lot of fun.
It really was, and we learned a lot about the history of this neighborhood where we do the walk. And, I'm not a native to this city. I live here now, but there's a lot of things I didn't know happened here that we learned about by taking the walk over.
Yeah, Lexington has a very rich, historic, and paranormal. It may not always embrace the paranormal, but it certainly has it.
Right, there's a lot of history there that we discovered since doing the walk. And I mean, do we know everything? Absolutely not. But we are open to learning more and more as we continue these walks.
Which we plan to do for hopefully many more years, as long as people stay interested in the paranormal, and I think they will.
Another thing that we really enjoyed doing this year that we hadn't been able to do in years past was check out Waverly Hills.
Yeah.
Oh, that experience is great. Yeah, the first time that you step into that building.
Yeah, you can just feel the history. The one thing that I did notice that I really didn't expect was how warm it felt. I'm not talking temperature-wise, I'm just talking about welcoming. I didn't expect that. Everything that I'd heard or seen on these paranormal shows, they would give off the connotation that there was evil there, that it was all about evil, and I didn't get that.
I didn't either. I mean, there were certain areas that were slightly more uncomfortable.
Right.
But overall, in general, no, I did not feel that.
No. Which kind of surprised me. I went into it thinking it was going to be an evil place, and I did not get that at all.
No, I agree. And, for us to have been to Waverly for the first time in July, how many more times did we go this year?
I don't know. At least 3?
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 more times after that. We just can't get enough. It was.
And we appreciate Tanya.
Yes, Tanya and the Historical Society. We've done some events there, which we'll get to a little bit. later. But it's just a great building.
Right. I mean, she welcomed us, her and her group welcomed us with open arms and made us feel totally welcome and comfortable there, which led to a great experience every time we did go.
Absolutely. And, you know, like I said, we did an event there, and that's another thing that we started doing this year that we haven't really done in the past is go to different events. So in July, we went to an event here local in Lexington called Hunters Against Hate. And that is an event that helps raise money for LGBTQIA plus communities and local organizations. It's a great convention. We set up there, and that was our first show.
Yes, and we made some good connections there. One of those being Jeremy Orion, who's our Scarecrow art. If you want to look him up on Instagram or Facebook.
Oh yeah, he's the one that did our new mascot, which we love, by the way.
We do for sure. And if you haven't seen Marley, he is on all of our socials. He's a great little guy.
I actually committed enough to tattoo him on my arm.
You do. You and Heather both have him permanently on your body forever.
Forever. I do not regret it.
Shortly after that, we did the Equinox event at Waverly, and that was in partnership with Mama Ruby's. And this was like a first time type of event for this location.
It was a huge success.
It really was. I think they said there was, 600-700 people plus that went through there that in one day.
One day event, yep.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So it kind of brought all kinds of new people to Waverly, you know, people that don't necessarily want to commit to the overnight investigations, but they were doing miniature tours, and, you know, you got to see the building in the daytime, which is a beautiful building. So it's really nice to be able to see it in the daytime. You can actually see all the historical aspects of the building.
Yeah, just be able to see how massive the building is, which if you come at nighttime, you can kind of tell, but not the scope. That when you come around that one curve and you see it for the first time, it is humongous. We partnered with the Sire Hotel this year, which is something that we hadn't thought about doing previously. The Sire Hotel is one of the stops on our ghost walk, and they actually approached us and wanted to get involved, which was very complimentary and something that we really didn't expect, but turned out to be kind of lucrative for the Sire Hotel and getting their name out there.
For sure. I mean, it's not something that you expect for businesses to reach out to want to partner with you, especially in our first year.
And especially in the field that we're in.
Correct. And, you know, I'm saying the first year, we'd only been doing the walk for a couple months at this point.
Right.
And they reached out and wanted us to change our starting location. And it was a pretty cool idea. They made us some signature drinks, like drink specials for our guests.
They have a fireplace on the patio. It was a good place for our people to wait for the walk to start.
Right.
And it brought them traffic.
It did.
Right.
So it was pretty good for them.
Right. And moving forward with this year's walk, you'll just have to stay tuned and see if that's something that we will continue. But yeah, that was pretty awesome. And what about Scarefest?
Scarefest was crazy, as always.
That is a really well ran event. It is, and it was especially this year.
Yes, and thanks to Brandon and Nicole Griffith for fitting us in.
Yes.
Kind of last minute. The booths had been sold out for a while, and we were trying to secure a spot at the show, and we weren't able to. And, you know, Brandon and Nicole were able to work us in, and we really appreciate that because it was a great show.
Yeah, we were actually in the Spine, which is right before you go into the convention center, and that ended up being at a wonderful location because we got to talk to everyone.
Right, everybody that was sitting there waiting to get their tickets or purchase tickets, we just kind of got to hang out for 3 days and talk to everybody.
Yeah, that was a perfect location because anybody going into Scarefest, you had to go by where we were.
You did. And, that weekend not only was Scarefest, but we also had an event with the Lexington History Museum that Sunday of Scarefest. So it was a very, very busy weekend.
Yes, that one was hands down I think one of our busiest.
Noelle and myself, we went to the Thomas Hunt Morgan House here in Lexington and did kind of like a virtual ghost walk for the Lexington History Museum. And we presented that to probably 25 plus people. It was a free event, and it was great because we got to let a lot of people experience the ghost walk that normally would not, and they really enjoyed it, I think, because it was very historically accurate. We bring a lot of history into our ghost walks.
Right, and a lot of people, even if they don't believe in the paranormal, will just show for just the history aspect of it.
Right.
I do think we converted a few people this year.
I think so.
Skeptics too.
Yeah, it just seemed like at the end of the walk, no one wanted to leave, which we found very, very flattering. It was a great way to end the walk. Every night we would sit around and just talk, and they would experiment with the dowsing rods, and that was a big hit.
Yes, everybody loves dowsing rods because they're pretty easy to pick up and learn.
Right. I mean, and they're so visual that I think that's why people just really kind of gravitate toward them.
And any paranormal questions that they had, we would try to field those as best we could.
Right.
Realizing that, this is our theory and this is our belief after doing this for 15 years. People enjoyed that. I think they also enjoyed having their auras measured by Bethany, right, because it almost became a competition at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It did. Who has the biggest aura?
Yeah.
That's always
if
a
you
fun
don't know
way
what
to
we're talking about, you'll have to come to On the Walk and experience it yourself.
Right. I will measure your aura for you.
It's kind of fun.
It's very fun.
Another interesting thing that happened this year, actually back in, I think, October, was the NPR interview.
Yes, that was Noelle and Heather, and they went over to WUKY over on UK's campus and did an interview, and that's our local NPR station as well. So they were able to, do an interview kind of all about the ghost walk and what we do.
Yeah, it was really good. And they reached out to us. That's one of the things that we're finding now, that we really do enjoy, that we're getting all these opportunities. These opportunities. Yeah.
Something that we, when we first got into this, I mean, that was the last thing on our minds, really. But the more we're out there and the more we're seeing, it seems like the more interest people have.
Right, especially around Halloween. We had a local news station reach out, but our schedules just weren't able to work out to where they could come and do a live shot from our walk. But, the interest is there, especially around October.
Right. And then
of October, that was our last month of the Ghost Walk. This year, our season runs from June to October. So we wrapped that up and had a pretty long Halloween weekend. We had a lot of walks that weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of people came through. We sold out every walk in October, I believe. So it was a very busy time.
We did. And remember, we had that one bachelorette party,
we had a
where they
bachelorette
came
party
from out of state. There were a lot of them from different parts of the country, and they met here and went on the Ghost Walk. That was a very interesting night.
It really was.
And I'm glad they had a great time. We'll just kind of leave it at that.
We had birthday parties, private event. We had private investigations for birthday parties. That is something we'll do, and we will do. You can reach out to us anytime about a private walk.
Yeah, just because our season is June to October doesn't mean that that's the only time we do the walks. We do have, availability for private events during the year. So you can find more info out about that by going to our website, ghostwalklex.com, and just reach out to us there.
Speaking of media attention, you and I did a interview with Strange Talk Radio.
We did. They are based out of Cincinnati, but one of the hosts is here local to us.
Robin, and we had a really, really enjoyable time with Robin. He even came on the Ghost Walk that night.
He did. He's a very, very fun guy to hang out with.
Yes, and so check them out.
That's Strange Talk Radio, and they're on Spotify, I believe, or you can go to their website. I believe it is strangetalkradio.com, and you will be able to listen to that interview with Amy and myself. We kind of talk about our beliefs and, local paranormal lore.
Experiences we've had. We even got to talk about cryptids.
We did. We do love us some cryptids.
That's something we did in November. We went to Crypticon.
We did go to Crypticon, and that was the first time for me.
That was the first time for me, huh?
It was a very cool show. It was here in Lexington as well.
What about the investigation that we did? It was, close to Thanksgiving, I think. The historical building
Yes.
here in Lexington.
Yes, it was a local business. We're not going to release the name of it, but it's a building from early 1800s.
Yeah,
Yes.
early 1800s. The only thing I will say is Cassius Clay may have been a part of that investigation. That's all we're going to say about that. But this location, we had a great time at, and lovely people at this business that were very open to allowing us to come and investigate. We had a ball that night.
We did. And we're still reviewing evidence.
Right.
So we will be getting back to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you are listening to this,
We promise. We are working on it.
Working on it, and
Well-
we've found some really cool stuff so far.
for sure. And what was really cool about that investigation is they wanted to participate because they are the people that work there every day. So if the spirits are going to know anybody, it's going to be them.
Right.
So that was a very cool aspect to kind of tie into our investigation, was to have them with us.
Right. It was a lot of fun. And tonight, an investigation with a friend of mine who, this will be a residential investigation. She's having some things showing up in her house that she's unsure of who they are or what they are. So we're going to see if we can help her out tonight.
I enjoy private investigations.
I do too.
Me too, especially, it's going to places that aren't overly investigated.
Right.
So you don't go in with any expectations of what you're going to find.
Right.
And there's always the possibility that you can ease someone's mind. This is not
Right.
Exactly.
you have to
And if
worry
we can
about.
debunk anything, we're going to do that. But we're also going to try to get her some answers.
Right.
We also had several mystical market shows this past year.
We did. That's a show ran by Nicole Griffith from Scarefest. And Rachel is the power behind the throne, shall we say. So she kind of runs that on a day-to-day basis. And those are great shows. They happen every month at the Clarion. So stay tuned for that. That may be changing this year. I'm not sure. But as of right now, they're at the Clarion North every month. They are great shows.
They are great shows. A lot of interesting vendors, readers.
Don't we have a show coming up in April?
We do. That show has yet to be named, but that's going to be a show with Mama Ruby's. And it should be in April. I believe it might be the first weekend of April. I'm not sure on that right now, but it's going to be at the Shriners Temple on Southland Drive. So if you've never been in that building, it's a very cool place just to go in. So there'll be more info on that show at mamarubies.com when it's finalized.
Okay. What about the library? We've got something coming up with the library that they might be interested in.
Often, before we have had our own office space, we have used the production studio at the Lexington Public Library in the Northside Branch to do our podcast.
Shout out to Brian.
Shout out to Brian. Always very helpful.
Yes.
So I think we're going to be discussing our use of the production studio and sort of a little bit about what we do.
Right. Not so much paranormal, but kind of more like this is how we use the space for our podcast.
And that is, if you are filming anything that is, or recording anything that is an excellent free space that the public library provides. We're very lucky in Lexington to have such a...
For sure. And, the space over at Northside, it has a huge green screen. So if you're looking to film some stuff and don't have a green screen, they have one for you.
They have the lighting. And if you're doing podcasts, they have microphones. They have the editing equipment.
They have everything.
Everything you would need.
This is free, people.
Yep, and we're talking PC or Mac. So whichever one you use, they have.
So please utilize that. That's a wonderful resource.
It is. I love the library. So that kind of wraps up our 2022 in review. So what about this year? Do we have anything interesting coming up?
Well, we have some guests lined up for our podcast, which I'm excited about. Spirit Mechanics hopefully is going to be joining us if we can get our schedules worked out.
Right.
Also, Mark Muncie, who did a book called Eerie Appalachia. Have we talked to him at Crypticon? He said he would be glad to be a guest.
Super nice guy.
Super wonderful.
We need to talk to Roger over at Ross. We need to go investigate over there again.
We do. I miss Ross
No, I
Theater.
miss
We
Ross.
haven't been
Yes.
there. They just upgraded all the seating.
Yes, because we have some of the old sets.
The old seats.
We do. I think Ken Boggle was going to reach out and we were going to be...
Yes, I talked to Ken about if we could get our schedules coordinated. Ken's an amazing tarot reader.
Yes. So we've got lots of stuff lined up for this year, hopefully. And then we'll be starting the walk back in June.
We're hoping to investigate some different places and look for a possibility of a road trip from the Marley Knockers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like a vlog type video
Yes.
segments where you can come with us on, our road trips.
On actual investigation.
And we're also thinking about trying to get some investigations set up where you guys can come with us.
Yes, so that's been a big thing. Public investigations, we would love to.
Yeah, we would love to do that.
So if you have any ideas, let us know. Any locations you'd like to see either us go to or to see if we can try to set up a public investigation at, let us know.
If anyone also has a need in their private residence, we're always available for that. Reach out to us for that.
Yes, for sure. You can send us a message at marleyknockers@gmail.com or send us a message on our website or our social medias. The website is marleyknockers.com and it's Marley Knockers at all the different socials. We have Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. So just shoot us a message and follow us on all those things, please. Once we get to 1,000 on TikTok, we'll be able to go live while we're on investigations. We're about 400 people away right now. So help us out.
Absolutely. That'd be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for this episode. My name is Bethany.
I'm Kim.
Maybe.
And we are part of Marley Knockers Paranormal. We'll see you next time.